inguinal hernia. Okay. So if you guys have any doubt, just let me know and I'll repeat it. Now, history taking is the most important part of being a doctor. It will help you form a diagnosis and then you can go ahead with the treatment. So it forms the basic framework. We all think that treatment is the main thing, but it's not. It's actually diagnosing the disease. And the entire backbone of it is how you take a history. So with that, we'll start with the history taking. Now, what are the things, what is the basic framework of history taking itself? There is patient particulars, chief complaints, history of presenting illness, past history, drug history, allergy history, family history, and history of immunization. When you write a history or when you take a history, these are the 8 points. Actually, I have missed one here. There is also personal history. Okay. So you also have to take care of the personal history. These are the 9 points that you have to take care of, that you must include these 9 points for your history to be complete. So we'll start with the first. Now, patient particulars. What do you ask in patient particulars? You ask the name, age, sex, residence, religion, social status, and occupation. Name. Why do we have the patient particulars? We have it for the identification of the patient. We have it for storing the data for say, going back to see what the patient had, etc., or research work, etc., that thing. And also, the patient particulars itself gives us a lot of ideas and helps us form DDs, etc. How? For example, name is, of course, name you need to know. For example, let's come with age. Okay? If it's a small child, you will think about if it's a baby, if it's a 1 year baby, 2 year baby, or something of that sort, you will think of congenital diseases. That has to be in one of your DDs. If it is a old person, then you need to have cancer. For example, if there is a person who comes to you with bleeding per rectum, okay. Now, if this will be a young person, the first DD that you will think is hemorrhoids, okay. But if it's an old person, you have to keep cancer as a very close DD. You have to rule it out. Now, cancer is a thing which will happen, which might happen at any age, of course, but it will just help you be more sure, okay, this could really be cancer. Another very important example of it would be breast lump. You will see a lot of these cases in surgery OPDs. A female comes with a breast lump. What is your diagnosis? The age will help you in that. For example, if it's a young female, okay, if it's a young female and you just know it's a breast lump, you haven't examined it, nothing, you just told it's a young female with a breast lump. Your DDs will be fibroadenoma, your DDs will be phyllodes, etc. However, if it's an old female, a postmenopausal female of sorts, then your first DD will be cancer, breast cancer. Okay? So, like that, age is important. Next, we come to sex, of course. Residence, because there are a lot of diseases which are area specific. For example, filariasis is very, common in Bengal, Odisha, and Bihar. Similarly, leprosy is common in Bankura. Then there are these certain cancers, Kangri cancer, which is common in Kashmir, etc. So, so area-specific diseases, it helps you narrow. Gallbladder, GB stones, it's more common in the northern belt. Okay, stuff like that. Religion. Now, religion is a little controversial. People say that now, the recent updates is that you do not have to mention the religion. However, in your exams, you need to write the religion because I'm sure the examiners that will come to assess you will be old men and women, and they have read religion, so you go ahead with that. Religion does hold some importance in certain cases. Um, for example, say CA penis is not a very usual occurrence in Muslims because they have circumcision when they are babies, so it's a protective factor, stuff like that. But it's not that important. Coming to social status will be important in case of diseases like the lower strata people. Maybe they are malnourished, maybe their living standards are not great, and hence they will have different sorts of they'll be exposed to more infected causes, etc. The higher standards will have probably their food habits will be more towards junk, etc. So stuff like that. And occupation. There are a lot of diseases which occupation is a risk factor for that. For example, varicose veins. In varicose veins, varicose veins usually happens in the legs, and it usually happens in people who are standing for a prolonged period of time. For example, security guards or army people, or even shopkeepers who are just standing and doing this. So you get a lot of cases. So the occupation is important for that. Now, for example, I'll just tell you, in inguinal hernia occupation, inguinal hernia can happen because of any stress, any pressure, or any, to the abdominal region. So if he's a laborer, or if he's doing something which is causing stress to his abdominal region and pushing the stuff down, then that could also cause for it. Okay. So this was the patient particulars. We're done with the patient particulars. Now we'll come to the chief complaint. We are now coming to the chief complaint. So what do we do in chief complaints? The chief complaint is why the patient came to you. Okay. Just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So it is why the patient came to you. So you will ask him, what brings you here? And when he tells you, I came with pain, then you'll ask him, how long have you been having this pain? So these are the two questions that you must ask in your chief complaint. What brings you here, and how long have you had this complaint? Okay. How do you say? Now the patient might come with 10 complaints or 3 complaints. He might say that I have pain, I have swelling, I have this problem. So you have to arrange it in chronological order. Whichever problem he had first will be mentioned first. And if both the problems are found around the same time, then you will base it on their severity. Okay. And ensure that the patient had no complaints before this period. Now, why is this important? This is important because, for example, a patient comes to you with right hypochondrial pain and there is rigidity. He's saying that it's painful and it's rigid and all of that. Okay. And he's been having this pain for the last 2 days only, associated with vomiting also maybe. Okay. Now he's saying that this is it. This is my complaint for 2 days, and that's it. That's all he says. But what he failed to mention to you is that before those 2 days, for the last 1 week, he's having hunger pains. So these are the things that you have to take out from patient. Ki wo 2 din pehle, you were perfectly fine. There was absolutely no problem. Are you sure? Now, if he would have mentioned that he was also having hunger pains for the last 1 week, he has come to you with right hypochondrial pain, rigidity, and vomiting. He does not even remember that he had hunger pains earlier. But if you take it out from him, you will be able to form a diagnosis of peptic ulcer. So you have to ensure that the patient had no related complaints before this period. That's why when you say HOPI, which I'll come to, you always started with the patient was apparently well 3 months back or 1 month back or whatever. So you mentioned this line, the patient was apparently well. So you have to ensure that the patient had no related complaints before this period. So this was the chief complaints. Now we will come to history of presenting illness. What is history of presenting illness? This is the most important part of your history taking. Okay. What all do you have to do in this? Here, you have to write all the complaints in the patient's own language. That means if the patient has said he's having bloody urine, okay, he's having red color urine or bloody urine or whatever, it means hematuria, right? But you cannot write that in your HOPI. So you will not say hematuria. You will say the patient has bloody urine. Okay. Or for example, the patient has dysphagia. So you can't write dysphagia. You have to write pain on swallowing, pain or difficulty on swallowing, etc. Okay. So it has to be in patient's own language. Also, there can be no leading questions. Now, as a doctor, as a person who's, seeing patients, etc., if a patient comes to me and says, I have pain here or something, and you are suspecting it's pancreatitis. Suppose he's saying I have abdominal pain. He's an alcoholic and he's coming with abdominal pain. Now, if you ask him, Acha, does this pain radiate to your back? Then that's a leading question. The patient will just, the patient at that time might just get confused, or just to please you, he'll say yes. So you can't ask leading questions. You have to ask, is the pain only here or does it go elsewhere also? So that he has to give, it can't be a yes or no question, no leading questions. You have to ask, does this pain also go elsewhere? He will say yes. Then you will ask him where. So there can't be any leading questions. Okay. Now, when I say this is the most important part of the history taking, it is only based on the HOPI that you can form a diagnosis. Okay. How? First of all, you will elaborate the chief complaints. I will give you an example of this with inguinal hernia in mind. But first of all, you are going to elaborate the chief complaints. Second, you will ask questions so that you can rule out the other diagnosis. Right? Third, you will establish staging or severity. Now, this is not applicable to inguinal hernia per se, but I'm just saying that this is how, whenever you do an HOPI, if you mention these 4 points, if you ask questions based on these 4 points, you will not miss out on any point. Okay. And the fourth is to rule out complications. Okay? Chalo, I'll give you an example of this just to make things easier. So, I have a patient who came with a lump for this is supposed to be a lump in the inguinoscrotal region or the inguinal region for 3 months.
Due to
And
proliferation
pain.
of tissue below.
Hello. Okay. So the chief complaint is that I have a patient who came with a lump in the inguinal region for 3 months and pain for the last 1 month over the same region. Okay. That's it. Now we are going to elaborate it. How will we elaborate it? How did it start? Okay. First, what did I tell you? I told you about 4 points. First is elaborate the chief complaints. Right? So here I'm going to elaborate it. He told me about lump, he told me about pain. So I will ask him about the lump. How did it start? In inguinal hernia, it usually starts when there is excessive straining. For example, he could have been coughing. Okay, he could have been, he could have been having constipation and he must have been defecating, like, with a lot of pressure or something like that. So stuff like that. So how did it start? When did he first see the lump is basically the question. Okay. The second is where did he first see the lump? Okay. So it could have been in the inguinal region. It could have been in the scrotum. It could have been at the root of the scrotum. So where did he see it? Based on this, you will understand whether it's a complete hernia or an incomplete hernia, etc. Or it could just be some surgery that he had in the past and it was there. Like you are thinking it's an inguinal hernia, it's in the inguinal region, but maybe it's a little bit up and he had an appendectomy and he's just having an incisional hernia. So you have to ask him where did he first see this? Now, what was the size and the extent when it was first seen? So by this way, you will be able to understand whether the disease is progressing. For example, in inguinal hernia, he could say that, initially the lump was in the inguinal region, but now it reaches up to the scrotum. Like, or initially it was only there when I used to cough. It used to be only like a small lump here and it used to go back in. But now it's like, whenever I cough, it goes down up to my scrotum. So stuff like that. Or the size. He will say that, starting से वो नीचे तक आ रहा था, लेकिन अब तो इतना बड़ा हो गया है. Stuff like that. Next, how does it reduce? ठीक है, so you will have to ask him कि does it reduce? क्या वो अपने आप अंदर चला जाता है, जो गोला बनता है, क्या वो अपने आप अंदर चला जाता है? अगर चला जाता है, if he says yes, it goes back. So you have to ask him how. Do you have to manually reduce it? Or does it go back when you're lying down, etc.? If it goes back when he lies down, etc., then you will think about direct hernia, because direct hernia usually reduces on its own. However, if he has to reduce it on its own, then you understand that it's, now he has to manually reduces. He has to perform some taxis maneuvers to reduce it. So it could be indirect hernia. It could be, thoda sa aur din ho gaye hernia hue, etc. So that. Next, pain. You will ask him what kind of pain. There are a lot of questions that you have to ask regarding the pain. You have to ask the site, you have to ask the type, you have to ask the extent, you have to ask the radiation, stuff like that. So all that you have to ask. You have to ask him to help him to describe that pain. Now, I will just explain what type of pain and the reduction. So the first thing I told you was elaborate the chief complaints. This is how I've elaborated. I've asked him all the questions possible regarding to the chief complaint. Now, the second thing that I told you to do is that you have to rule out the complications. You have to see whether, there are no it's not a complicated case. It's just a simple case. So how will you do that? You will do that by asking these questions in case of an inguinal hernia. Does it reduce? That way you will know if it's a reducible hernia or an irreducible hernia. How was the bowel movement? That is, if the patient is able to pass flatus and stool. In an obstructed hernia, the bowel will get obstructed in the hernial sac, and air or food bolus will not be able to pass past this obstruction, and therefore he will not be able to pass flatus and stool. Is the pain colicky? Now, usually in hernia, the pain is dragging in nature. Okay, there is a dull aching or a dragging pain in inguinal hernia. However, if the patient is colicky, like if the pain is colicky, then it is probably because of obstruction. That the food is trying to move. There is hyperperistalsis going on to push the food beyond this point of obstruction, but they are not able to. So you're ruling out obstruction with these things. Tenderness, erythema around the skin. With this, you're ruling out incarceration, strangulation, etc. So these are the questions that you need to ask for an inguinal hernia also. Next, I told you that you have to rule out the other diagnosis. Now, inguinal hernia is mainly a it's mainly a disease which you diagnose by clinical examination. But still, there are the DDs will be hydrocele, filariasis, lymph nodes, abscess, lipoma, etc. So, for example, you can ask if to rule out hydrocele, you can ask if the swelling is just limited to the scrotum or does it come from above down. So that will rule out hydrocele for you. Filariasis will be based upon where the patient is from, what exposure he has had, and whether there is associated lymphedema, etc. Lymph node, there could be history of trauma, infection, fever, abscess in lymph nodes, stuff like that. So, you really can't rule it out based on for inguinal hernia, but these are the 4 things you have to ask every time. Okay, and there's one more thing, you have to rule out the causative factors. So in inguinal hernia, you will also ask the history of, does he have a history of constipation? Does he have history of chronic cough? Okay, or things like that. So you also rule out the cause. These are the 5 topics that you have to always ask for a patient, for any disease for that matter, in case of an HOPI. Okay. So before I move ahead, does anyone have any questions for this? Guys, any questions? No? All right. I'm going to just move ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Ask me.
Ma'am, someone has raised their hand. I think it's Dr. Yash.
Yeah. Dr. Yash, Dr. Shreya, please feel free to ask me anything.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask, ma'am, in HOPI, what will be the negative history that we have to write in this case?
So, like in this case, these are all negative histories, right? You will ask, now you don't know what the patient is coming with. So you will ask him, does it reduce? He will say no. These are the things that you have to mention. When I told you about these 4-5 points, these are the things that you have to ask, and even if he says no, you have to mention it. Get it?
Okay, ma'am.
So you will ask him, does the hernia reduce, or does he have colicky pain, or is he able to pass flatus and stool? And even if he says no, you have to mention it. That is what a negative history is. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
You will not ask him, does he have a history of MI, and then write that, or does he also have leg pain? Even if he does not, if he doesn't have leg pain, you will not write that. If he says he doesn't have leg pain, you will not write that, because that is not an important negative history. But these are important negative histories because they will help you rule out the complication.
मैम सेकंड क्वेश्चन जो मुझे पूछना था मैम, ये मैम जो नेगेटिव हिस्ट्री होती है मैम, इसको मैम लाइक मैम ये डिराइव कैसे करते हैं? लाइक जैसे मैम एज अ 3rd ईयर स्टूडेंट मैम, तो मैम अगर मुझे ये केस प्रेजेंट करना है हर्निया का, तो मैम मुझे पता कैसे चलेगा कि नेगेटिव हिस्ट्री में क्या क्या पॉइंट्स लिखने होंगे मैम? तो ये कैसे पता चलेगा? लाइक आपने तो एक्सप्लेन कर दिया, तो मैम यही सेम पॉइंट्स लाइक कोई भी केस मुझे प्रेजेंट करना हो तो मैं नेगेटिव हिस्ट्री में यही सारे पॉइंट्स लिखूंगा, या लाइक इसको डिराइव किया जाता है कहीं से? तो मैम ये कैसे डिराइव करूं? बिकॉज मैम इसी मुझे प्रॉब्लम आती है डिराइव करने में नेगेटिव
कोई बात नहीं। सी इसमें इसको तुम कैसे डिराइव करोगे, उसके लिए तुम्हें उस डिजीज के बारे में जानना पड़ेगा। ठीक है, जैसे अगर तुम्हें आज अभी मैंने तुम्हें क्यों बोला कि तुम्हें पूछना है कि बावल मूवमेंट हो रहा है कि नहीं, कॉलिकी पेन हो रहा है कि नहीं, ये हो रहा है, क्योंकि मैंने इंग्वाइनल हर्निया पढ़ा है, उसके बारे में मैंने पढ़ा है और मुझे पता है कि इंग्वाइनल हर्निया का one of the complications is strangulation, the other complication is obstruction, the other complication is incarceration. तो बिकॉज आई नो कि हाँ इंग्वाइनल हर्निया हुआ है तो हो सकता है उसको ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ हो या ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ हो, तो इसीलिए मैं उसका वो सब का हिस्ट्री पूछ करके उसको लिखूंगी कि अच्छा ये भी नहीं है, ये भी नहीं है, ये भी नहीं है।
ओके
तो
मैम।
कोई भी डिजीज के बारे में तुम्हें प्रॉपरली जानना होगा, तभी तुम उसके बारे में पूछ सकते हो, ठीक है।
ओके ओके मैम। मैम इसमें मैम डाइटरी हिस्ट्री और मैम पर्सनल हिस्ट्री इंक्लूड नहीं करेंगे मैम?
नहीं, HOPI में तुम नहीं इंक्लूड करोगे।
नहीं मैम, इसके बाद मैम, इसके बाद में
हाँ,
HOPI के बाद
इसके बाद
मैम
में तो
हिस्ट्री।
अभी हम लोग, अभी देखो इसलिए ये फ्रेमवर्क है हमारा, ठीक है। हम लोगों
ओके
ने
मैम।
पेशेंट पर्टिकुलर, चीफ कंप्लेंट्स, और अब हम लोग HOPI भी कर लिया। डाइटरी
ओके मैम।
हिस्ट्री, ड्रग हिस्ट्री, वो सब हम आगे में पढ़ेंगे,
ओके मैम, थैंक यू मैम।
ठीक है। चलो कोई बात। एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस? शुड वी मूव अहेड?
Ma'am, there is a question in the chat box. Ma'am, Shreya wants to know about aggregating factors and relieving factors.
Aggravating factors and relieving factors. Excellent question. Okay. So, for the, okay, let me just deviate from inguinal hernia here, because inguinal hernia ka aggravating factor is cough, straining, constipation, BPH. BPH is another very important causative factors, another very important history that you have to take in case of males. Okay, because BPH में क्या होता है, वो यूरिन क्या बोलते हैं, यूरिन निकलने नहीं देता है प्रोस्टेट तुम्हारा, हाइपरट्रोफिक प्रोस्टेट, तो पेशेंट को यूरिनेशन के समय स्ट्रेन करना पड़ता है, एनी स्ट्रेन लाइक आई सेड विल एग्रवेट द हर्निया. सो थैंक यू सो मच. एग्रवेटिंग एंड रिलीविंग फैक्टर्स. एग्रवेटिंग एंड रिलीविंग फैक्टर्स में क्या होता है? Aggravating versus relieving factors. Now, aggravating factors are those factors which will increase your pain, which will increase your disease, which will increase your symptoms or signs. Okay, and relieving factors are those which will relieve it, of course. Okay, for example, मैंने बोला, मेरे पेशेंट ने बोला कि मुझे पेन हो रहा है 1 महीने से, तो मुझे उससे ये पूछना होगा कि जब तुम खाना खाते हो तब क्या पेन बढ़ जाता है, या does it when you know if you are straining or when you are coughing, does the pain increase? And relieving is क्या करने पे जब दर्द हो रहा है तो of course the patient will do something to make himself feel comfortable, right? You have to ask him कि how does the pain get relieved? So he will either say कि when I lie down or when I reduce the hernia, the pain gets relieved, or I take a pain medication and the pain gets relieved, or in other diseases they do something and the pain gets relieved. So that is a very important thing that you have to mention in your history taking. Okay, the aggravating and the relieving factors. These are the things that the aggravating, the relieving factors, these are the things with which you are going to elaborate your chief complaints. लंप कब एग्रेवेट हो जाता है, कब बढ़ जाता है, या पेन कब एग्रेवेट होता है, कब रिलीव होता है. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पॉइंट्स इनसाइड पेन व्हिच इज ऑनेस्टली अ लिटिल बियॉन्ड द स्कोप राइट नाउ, बिकॉज उसमें बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स आते हैं, सबका डी तुमको बनाना पड़ता है. बट एग्रेवेटिंग एंड रिलीविंग फैक्टर इज अ मस्ट इन ऑल योर केसेस. ओके, गुड क्वेश्चन श्रेया, थैंक यू. एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस?
Ma'am, another question from Aman. What is the importance of age in hernia?
Importance of age. So age is extremely important in hernia because, like I said, there are the hernias are of different types. Okay, there is congenital inguinal hernia, there is direct inguinal hernia, there is indirect inguinal hernia, and there are of course a lot of complications of hernia. Direct inguinal hernia is usually seen in old age men. Now, for that, I'm expecting you guys to know what hernia is, although I'm sure a lot of you don't, but I'm very sorry, it's beyond the scope of this. And we can take a class about it some other time. But basically, क्या होता है कि this is the inguinal region, right? This is the inguinal region. यहाँ पे एक artery होती है. This is the inferior epigastric artery. Okay? And यहाँ पे एक muscle है, that is the rectus muscle, which is on either side of the umbilicus. ठीक है? Now, this area that you will see, this is an area of weakness. ठीक है? पूरे abdomen में muscle सब कुछ है. This area is an area of weakness. ठीक है? तो इस area से जब hernia अपने आप, and this is the inguinal canal. ठीक है? जब इस area से हर्निया निकल के आती है तो उसको डायरेक्ट इंग्वाइनल हर्निया बोलते हैं, एंड जब यहाँ से निकल के आती है, यहाँ से ऐसे करके निकलता है, तो उसको इनडायरेक्ट बोलते हैं. In old people, what happens is that their muscles are weak. बूढ़े हो गए हैं, मसल सब कुछ वीक हो गया बॉडी का, तो ये वाला एरिया जो है ये थोड़ा प्रोन हो जाता है कि थोड़ा सा भी अंदर से प्रेशर मारो ये यहाँ से निकल जाएगा, हर्निया आ जाएगा. So age is important because if it's a young child, then you can say if it's a young baby, if it's a newborn or something, you can say it's a congenital thing. If it's an old baby, you can old man, sorry, then you can think of it as a direct hernia. Now, indirect hernia में क्या होता है? If it's a young man or if it's a child, like not a baby but like a child or a young age person, तो जब तुम्हारा स्क्रोटम, जब उनका स्क्रोटम डिसेंड करता है ना, जब स्क्रोटम डिसेंड करता है तो इट कम्स विथ लाइक अ थिंग कॉल्ड प्रोसेसिस वजाइनलिस. ठीक है, ये प्रोसेसिस वजाइनलिस, स्क्रोटम इस प्रोसेसिस वजाइनलिस को टानते हुए, स्क्रोटम इस प्रोसेसिस वजाइनलिस को टानते हुए तुम्हारा, सॉरी, टेस्टिस प्रोसेसिस वजाइनलिस को टानते हुए स्क्रोटम में आके बैठता है. फिर ये जो होता है प्रोसेसिस वजाइनलिस, ये तुम्हारा ओब्लिटरेट हो जाता है. अगर वो ओब्लिटरेट नहीं हुआ तो तुम्हारा इट्स अ पेरिटोनियल, लाइक इट्स अ कंटिन्यूएशन ऑफ द पेरिटोनियम, सो देयरफॉर यहाँ से फिर तुम्हारा हर्निया होने का चांसेस होता है. तो इफ इट्स अ यंग पर्सन, you will think maybe it's because of persistent processus vaginalis, and so therefore it could be an indirect hernia. That's the importance of age basically. Apart from that, you always have to ask for age even from surgical point of view कि अगर कोई बहुत old age man है तो तुम you know and if he has a lot of comorbidities, then you will plan your surgery accordingly. हो सकता है कि उसका हीलिंग थोड़ा सा लेट हो. यंग इंसान है तो तुमको पता है जल्दी जल्दी हील हो जाएगा, तो you can plan your surgery accordingly also. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to move on. So we are done with chief complaints, HOPI. Now we come to past history, drug history, allergic history. Past history, you have to ask him about the past diseases. You have to ask him about the past surgeries. Now this is a very, very famous question and a very favorite question of all the examiners. Why is past surgery important? Okay, past surgery is important, especially in case of hernias, because one, they will tell you about recurrence. It's a very common occurrence कि पेशेंट को होता है हर्निया, वो किसी पेरिफेरी के छोटे से हॉस्पिटल में चला जाता है, वहां नाम का बस बोल देते हैं हाँ ठीक है हम लोग ठीक कर दिए, ठीक है, कोई मेश नहीं डालते हैं तुम्हें कुछ पता नहीं, एंड द पेशेंट कम्स विद रेकरेंस. तो वो हो सकता है बोले कि पहले भी मेरे यहाँ पे होता था लम्प, मैंने सर्जरी कराई, अब वापस हो रहा है. तो रेकरेंस इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए है बिकॉज ए तुमको बताएगा वो कि क्या ऑपरेशन किया था, तुम्हें ये सब पता करना होगा, एंड उस हिसाब से देन यू हैव टू प्लान योर अदर ऑपरेशन. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, अ वर्जिन एब्डोमेन इज इजियर टू ऑपरेट. अ पेशेंट हु हैज ऑलरेडी बीन ऑपरेटेड ऑन, उसके ऊपर ऑपरेट करना डिफिकल्ट होता है. तो इफ इट्स अ रेकरेंट केस यू विल एक्सपेक्ट adhesions there, stuff like that. So recurrence, तुम्हें recurrence को rule out करना है. सेकेंड होता है कि तुम्हारा the other thing could be कि हो सकता है पहले उसको लेफ्ट साइड में hernia हुआ था, now he's coming to you for the right side. So it could be he could have had a hernia on the other side for which he has already gotten himself operated. And the third thing, this is the favorite question of all examiners, that is history of appendicectomy. They will always ask you, अच्छा appendicectomy का history क्यों important है? Because appendix is in the right lower quadrant, right iliac fossa में होता है, तो वहां पे भी हम लोग incision जो बनाते हैं वो वहीं पे बनाते हैं. Now while making the incision and while doing the dissection, there are a lot of nerves which come in the way, which might get injured. The ilioinguinal and iliohypogastric nerves, they may get injured, and if these get injured, then it could lead to weakness of the abdominal muscles, because these are the nerves which also supply all the abdominal muscles in that region. So if those nerves are injured, the muscles won't be supplied well. If the muscles are not supplied well, they will cause weakness, and hence there might be a hernia. So this is a very, very popular question. Okay, this. ड्रग हिस्ट्री यू हैव टू आस्क फॉर करंट एज वेल एज प्रीवियस डिसीजेस कि अभी इस चीज के लिए दर्द होता है या कुछ होता है तो अभी क्या आप दवाई लेते हैं या और कोई दवाई लेते हैं क्या. इसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है टू आस्क हिस्ट्री ऑफ डायबिटीज, हाइपरटेंशन, like the past disease and the medication, diabetes, hypertension, or any steroids. These are the three most important things you have to ask, because diabetes, hypertension, they help you plan the surgery. the most difficult thing when you are doing a surgery is getting it cleared by the anesthesia people. Okay, so if the patient has diabetes and hypertension, you have to make sure that all your checking TACs are done, cleared, so that you can take the patient and it's good for the patient also. And the other thing is diabetes and steroid consumption. These two are also important because अगर ये दोनों है, patient इसके लिए दवा ले रहा है and तो healing में दिक्कत होगी. हर्निया में हम मेश लगाते हैं. मेश इज अ फॉरेन ऑब्जेक्ट जिसको हील करने में टाइम भी लगता है एंड थोड़ी दिक्कत भी होती है. अगर डायबिटीज है या पेशेंट स्टेरॉइड्स देता है तो वो हील नहीं करेगा इजीली. तो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट यू हैव टू बी माइंडफुल अबाउट. एलर्जिक हिस्ट्री, दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी ऑफन मिस बिकॉज इट्स नॉट अ वेरी कॉमन थिंग कि इससे कॉमन कॉम्प्लिकेशन नहीं होता है, इसलिए हम ऑफन मिस कर जाते हैं. बट I have myself seen a case where पेशेंट का एलर्जिक हिस्ट्री नहीं लिया हुआ था, जिसके बाद पेशेंट को अचानक से एलर्जिक रिएक्शन हो गया एंड वी हैड टू शिफ्ट दैट पेशेंट टू आईसीयू. ठीक है, पेशेंट को खुद को याद नहीं रहता है कि मेरे को इस चीज से एलर्जी है, सो यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट व्हेन यू आर टेकिंग द हिस्ट्री यू आस्क हिम द एलर्जिक हिस्ट्री. Okay, so with that we are done with 6 of it. Personal history, उसमें you have to ask about addictions, whether the patient is a smoker, whether he drinks alcohol, stuff like that. ठीक है, any addictions, it could be anything, drugs, illicit behavior, like illicit behavior to rule out HIV, STDs, etc. Diet, whether he consumes a non-vegetarian, vegetarian diet. Sleep, bowel, bladder habits, his marital status. Menstrual history and obstetric history for females. Menstrual history mein you have to ask whether she has regular menstruations, the days that she has, like for how many days does it last, and then how many pads that she uses, so that you can just assess the flow, whether it's a heavy flow or a slow flow or whatever it is, and whether there's any pain associated with it, etc. Now coming to obstetric history. Obstetric history is important because like I said, like if a patient has, suppose she has 10 babies, okay, if the patient has 10 babies, then that means every time for all of those 10 babies were normal vaginal delivery, then all those 10 times she has put so much pressure that of course her entire lower abdomen will be lax and she'll be prone to hernia. Or for example, she had a lot of cesarean sections, okay, again a lot of dissection, cutting, etc. happening down there, and it leads to weakness of the abdominal wall, so stuff like that. So you have to just make sure that these are some things that you have to ask for the completeness of it. Okay, so personal history done. Now these are the points, just remember these points, that जब personal history ले रहे हो पूछना और mention करना addiction, diet, sleep, bowel, bladder, marital history, etc. ठीक है, done with personal history. Now we are coming to family history and history of immunization. Family history mein you just ask about whether their the parents are alive or not, if they have any history in the family कि मेरे सबको घर पे कोई connective tissue disorder अगर है तो it will make their abdominal wall weak and it will lead to this thing. और diabetes है तो you will do the investigations कि भाई मेरे patient को तो diabetes नहीं है ना, stuff like that. And history of immunization, especially for kids, to of course rule out other diseases based on this. ठीक है, so this is a basic framework on how you have to take a history. ठीक है, ये 9 points जो है इनको तुम्हें याद रखना है. अब हम लोग एक इंग्वाइनल हर्निया के पेशेंट के बारे में बात करेंगे. ठीक है, आई विल जस्ट एकदम वेरी क्विकली गिव यू एन एग्जांपल कि भाई इसीलिए ये सब पूछना जरूरी होता है. ठीक है, तो Mr. X, a 54-year-old male resident of Patna, who's a Hindu by religion, belonging to the lower strata or lower economic class, and is a laborer by occupation. ठीक है, this is my patient. सिर्फ इस स्लाइड को देख करके मैं सोचूं अच्छा चलो ठीक है, how do you present your history? I will also say that while I'm doing this. Mr. X, a 54-year-old gentleman. Always remember you have to say gentleman. Mr. X, a 54-year-old gentleman from Patna, who's a Hindu by religion, belonging to the lower economic class, is a laborer by occupation. He presented to us in the OPD with the chief complaint of lump in the inguinal region or in the abdomen. Okay, maybe he's not able to specify, he's just saying पेट में गोला हो गया है. Whatever the patient says, you have to write that. Okay, lump in the abdomen for the last 1 month. and pain for the last 3 months. बस finish. ये हो गया तुम्हारा sorry, the patient particulars and the chief complaint. The patient particular and the chief complaint has to be said in one breath. Okay, so saying it again, Mr. X, a 54-year-old Hindu male from Patna, who's a laborer by occupation and belongs to the lower socio-economic class, came to us in the OPD with the chief complaint of lump in the abdomen for the last 1 month and pain for the last 3 months. One breath, you've said both the things. Now we'll come to HOPI. मुझे पहले ये दोनों को इसके बारे में अच्छे से पूछना है. तो HOPI में the patient was apparently well 3 months back when he experienced pain in the inguinal region. Okay, the pain he experienced pain in the inguinal region, which was, you have to say the character of the pain, which was dull aching in nature, site of the pain. I have already said it was the inguinal in the inguinal region, but if you want to say more, it was diffuse all over the abdomen, it was in the inguinal region, it was in the epigastric region, whatever it is. So you have to say the character, you have to say the site, you have to say the aggravating, relieving factors. It used to get aggravated on performing, on hitting, lifting heavy objects, and relieved on lying down or taking medications. Okay? Stuff like that. He also complains of lump in the inguinal region for the last 1 month. So lump ke liye you have to say the site, you have to say the size, you have to say what was the initial size and what was the final size. Okay? Site mein, where did he initially see it? Where is he finally seeing it? Then you have to say when was the first time he saw it? What was he doing when he saw it? Okay? You have to let him, you have to ask about the origin. I'm so sorry, my charge is low. Just give me a second. So yeah, the size, again, it may be aggravating and relieving factors. It would appear when he cuffs and it goes away when he's lying down. ठीक है, ये सब करके पहले तुमने ये पूछा HOPI में. सबसे पहले अपने चीफ कंप्लेंट्स को तुमने बढ़ा दिया. ठीक है, फिर he does not give a history of now basically अब तुम्हें अदर डीडीज को रूल आउट करना है एंड कॉम्प्लिकेशंस को रूल आउट करना है, राइट? तो कॉम्प्लिकेशन में क्या बोलोगे तुम कि द पेशेंट, अब अगर तुम्हारा ऑलरेडी पेशेंट बोल रहा है कि तुम्हारा उसका लंप अंदर चला जाता है लाइंग डाउन, तो रिड्यूसिबिलिटी तुमने ऑलरेडी एस्टैब्लिश करी है, इरिड्यूसिबल नहीं है ये तुमने बोल दिया है. उसमें देयर इज नो हिस्ट्री ऑफ पेन और टेंडरनेस ओवर द लंप. द पेशेंट हैज नो हिस्ट्री ऑफ ऑब्स्टिपेशन, तो तुम्हें पता है कि उसका ऑब्स्ट्रक्टेड हर्निया नहीं है. ठीक है, then there is no history of fever, there's no history of erythema. ये सब बोल करके these are the negative history which is ruling out other diagnoses also and the complications also. The patient has history of constipation for the last 1 year. He has no history of chronic cough or BPH. ठीक है, ये सारे नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव हिस्ट्री से तुमने ये 5 पॉइंट्स को डिस्क्राइब कर दिया अच्छे से. खत्म, ये हर्निया का ये हो गया. फिर the patient has a past history of hernia on the left side. He has a past history of hernia on the left side. He's a known case of diabetes and he is on insulin इतना dose, इतना ऐसे. He has no significant allergic.
your screen sharing is off.
Sorry. Hello. So he has no significant allergic history. He has no significant family history, and his history of immunization is complete. ठीक है, ये हिस्ट्री लेकर के तुमने सारे पॉइंट्स बोल दिए अपने. So these are the 9 points that you have to make sure that you ask, and these are the 5 points which are the most important points to finish and completely, wrap up all the questions, all the diagnosis, etc. in your HOPI. So any questions?
Ma'am, there are a few questions in the chat box. Ma'am, should I go forward with that?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so ma'am, the first question is there any importance of menstrual history in female?
No, not really, actually, not in the case of inguinal hernia. However, you have to mention menstrual history also because, to be very honest, there is no specific reason for the completeness of your history taking. You don't know when and where you will need it. Okay, if the patient does not have has regular periods and her last menstrual period was 2 months ago, then maybe she's pregnant and she hasn't even realized it, or if the patient has a menstrual history where she has irregular menstrual histories, or she has extremely heavy flow and extremely painful woe, so you will think of some uterine pathology also, right? It's not like if the patient has come to you with one problem, then you will only fixate on that problem. You have to take a complete history so that you can do a wholesome treatment for that patient. So maybe you'll not treat the uterine pathology. Maybe you will not, once you find out if there's a fibroid, maybe you will not take, care about it. Maybe you'll not treat it, but you can at least refer her to someone. So that's why menstrual history is a very important history, which you have to take for the completeness of history taking also. Okay. Next.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, next question by Sahil. Please explain how to write progression of hernia in HOPI.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's question by Sahil that please explain how to write progression of hernia in HOPI.
Progression of hernia. So, like I said, when you are asking about the hernia, when you are asking, for example, about the lump, you will ask what was the size and the extent when it was first seen. ठीक है? तो you have already asked him कि कब से उसको दिक्कत हो रही है. He told you कि 3 महीने से हो रही है. Then you ask him what was the size and the extent when it was first seen. तो he will say कि पहले lump तो सिर्फ ऊपर की तरफ था. He'll say पहले तो lump सिर्फ ऊपर की तरफ था and एक छोटा सा था. When he says, he will show it with your hand, या he will tell you कि it was the size of a lemon. ठीक है, लेकिन अब 3 महीने बाद अब वो थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट्स द साइज ऑफ एन एप्पल एंड अब स्क्रोटम तक जा रहा है, या नीचे तक थैली तक जाता है मेरे. ठीक है, सो दैट इज हाउ. सो इट हैज ग्रेजुअली प्रोग्रेस्ड फ्रॉम द साइज ऑफ अ लेमन टू द साइज ऑफ एन एप्पल. ठीक है, it was initially limited to the inguinal region but has now extended up to the scrotum. So that's how you ask about the progression of the disease. Okay, or initially it was reducible and now it is not reducible. So you know that it is progressing now. अगर ऐसा होता कि पेशेंट बोला 3 महीने पहले भी इतना था और अभी भी इतना है, तो इसका मतलब डिजीज प्रोग्रेस ही नहीं किया है, जैसा था वैसा ही है. ठीक है.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, next, a friend wants to know the importance of taking history of tenderness or erythema.
So the the significance of taking history of tenderness and erythema in an irreducible hernia is that it will help you rule out strangulation. So for that you need to know the types of hernia, the complications of hernia. क्या होता है, मैं एकदम ब्रीफ में तुम लोगों को बता रही हूँ. ये तुम्हारा बॉडी का सैक है. सॉरी, 1 सेकेंड. ये है तुम्हारा पेरिटोनियल लाइनिंग. ठीक है, सपोज करो ये तुम्हारा पेरिटोनियल लाइनिंग है और ये तुम्हारा बॉडी का मतलब स्किन है, सपोज करो.
Yes, ma'am.
Screen.
Yeah, tell me.
You have not shared the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, and I'm just drawing. I'm so sorry. 1 second. Can you guys see this? Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
अच्छा, चलो.
Yes, ma'am.
चलो, ये है तुम्हारा पेरिटोनियल. ये जो ग्रीन वाला है ये तुम्हारा पेरिटोनियल लाइनिंग है और ये तुम्हारा स्किन सरफेस है. ठीक है. हर्निया में क्या होता है, I don't know if I'm way beyond the scope of this discussion, but I'm just going to say it because I think there are some third years also, and hernia is a very tricky subject. Like when I was during my MBBS time, मुझे hernia बहुत जल्दी समझ नहीं आया था, तो इसलिए मैं बस एक बार briefly बोल रही हूँ, इसके बारे में हम लोग कभी कुछ और भी कर सकते हैं. ठीक है। अब क्या होता है हर्निया के टाइम, जब प्रेशर ज्यादा पड़ता है एब्डोमेन के अंदर, बंदा खांस रहा है या बंदा कॉन्स्टिपेटेड है, तो जब प्रेशर पे जाता है तो जोर से प्रेशर मारता है, तो एब्डोमिनल वॉल पे हर जगह से प्रेशर ज्यादा ज्यादा पड़ता है। जब ये प्रेशर पड़ता है तो ये जो ग्रीन वाला पार्ट है, मतलब कि ग्रीन टायर एब्डोमिनल वॉल पे प्रेशर पड़ा है, तो ये ऐसे करके पुचुक करके बाहर निकल जाता है। ठीक है, विद द स्किन ये पूरा ही ये ऐसे करके बाहर निकल जाता है। नाउ दिस इज द हर्निया। अब क्या होता है, ये अब तुम्हारा एब्डोमिनल वॉल जो है उसमें ये एक हल्का सा ऐसे डिफेक्ट हो गया है, ये ऐसे करके आ गया है, एंड नाउ दिस इज इट। ठीक है, सो दिस इज द इंग्वाइनल, दिस इज द हर्नियल डिफेक्ट। ये जो गोला बना है स्किन में या व्हाटएवर वॉल में, दिस इज द इंग्वाइनल, दिस इज द डिफेक्ट। ठीक है, नॉर्मली क्या होता है, ये वापस अंदर चला जाता है। वापस अंदर चला गया तो वेरी गुड, हमें अभी कोई दिक्कत नहीं हो रही। लेकिन कभी कभी ये वापस नहीं जाता है, कभी कभी ये डिफेक्ट इतना छोटा होता है कि कोई बावल लूप सपोज है, वो बावल लूप अंदर जा करके ऐसे आया, ठीक है, और यहाँ पे फिर वो बावल लूप का एडिमा होने लग गया, तो वो यहीं अटक गया। ठीक है, ये अब अंदर नहीं जा रहा, ये अब अंदर नहीं जा रहा। ठीक है, तो इसको ऑब्स्ट्रक्टेड हर्निया बोलते हैं। अब क्या होता है, बावल के साथ तो उसका ब्लड भी जाता है, ब्लड सप्लाई भी होता है। यहाँ बावल तो नहीं जा रहा, ब्लड भी नहीं जा पा रहा, भाई इतना इतना छोटा होल है कि बावल ही समहाउ घुस करके और कोई चीज को स्पेस नहीं ले रहा जाने के लिए, ब्लड भी नहीं जा रहा। तो दिस पार्ट इज नॉट रिसीविंग, दिस इनसाइड वाला बावल विच इज हर्निएटेड, दिस इज नॉट रिसीविंग एनी ब्लड सप्लाई। ब्लड सप्लाई नहीं मिलेगा तो ये मरने लग जाएगा, इसको नेक्रोसिस होने लग जाएगा, इस्चीमिया होने लग जाएगा। ठीक है, इसी चीज को, इन सबको ही बोलते हैं स्ट्रैंगुलेटेड हर्निया। ठीक है, जब स्ट्रैंगुलेशन होता है तो क्या होता है, इस ये जब स्ट्रैंगुलेटेड हो गया है, नाउ इट्स डाइंग, सो मरने से पहले ये जोर जोर से चिल्ला रहा है, इन्फ्लेमेटरी प्रोसेस को समहाउ एक्टिवेट कर रहा है, सब कुछ कर रहा है। तो इससे क्या होता है, ओवरलाइंग स्किन जो होती है वो वार्म हो जाएगा, रेड हो जाएगा, ऑल द साइंस ऑफ इन्फ्लेमेशन, डॉलर को कलर, रूबर, एरिथमा, फंक्शनली ऑल ऑफ दैट। ठीक है, तो इट विल बिकम वार्म, इट विल बिकम रेड, इट विल बिकम टेंडर। That's why we are asking the history of tenderness or erythema over the lumbar. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, I can't hear you, but I'm just. Guys, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Examination of hernia, Shreya is asking me. Examination of hernia is very, very important, but like Sonali said, that you're only dealing with history taking. Examination, to be very honest, I think you should ask the PGs of your college to show it to you because it is very, very important. Okay, so make sure you don't miss that. Importance of menstrual history we have done. How to write the progression I've told you. Importance of history taking of tenderness and erythema. Bowel and bladder should be asked in negative history or in personal history. So this thing is, it actually depends from case to case. Okay, in general we write the bowel and bladder history in personal history. ठीक है, बट इफ देर इज, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक पेशेंट आया ही है तुम्हारे पास ब्लीडिंग पर रेक्टम लेकर के या तो फिर कॉन्स्टिपेशन लेकर के, तब तुम तो पूरा ही बावल का हिस्ट्री HOPI में लिखोगे, राइट? तो वो डिपेंड करता है। इन केस ऑफ हर्निया अगर पेशेंट को ऑब्वियस कॉन्स्टिपेशन है तो फिर तुम उसको HOPI में लिखोगे। हाउएवर अगर सब कुछ नॉर्मल है या अगर ऑब्वियस ऑब्स्टिपेशन है which could be because of obstructed hernia, तब तुम उसको HOPI में लिखोगे। Otherwise, you can also write it in this thing, in the personal history. However, try करना HOPI में हमेशा एक बार obstipation को, constipation, chronic cough and BPH को rule out करना। ठीक है? Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? No? Are we done? Sonali?
Yes, ma'am. I guess no more questions are there. We can wrap up the session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, and it was really very productive evening with you.
All right, thank you. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions, you can reach out to Sonali or the people of the group and they will ask me. And yeah, I hope you were able to understand things. Sonia was a very difficult topic for me. And I will just suggest that in future, when we have a history taking class or when we have any class for anything, or they are organizing any class, just try and read up a little bit about that topic. It will just help you a lot more. Okay? Chalo. All the
Thank you
best,
so much.
guys. Yeah,
Yes,
all the
ma'am.
best.
Thank you
Bye.
guys for joining in. Good night.